Hello and welcome to yet another interesting biology lesson presentation. My name is Marita Kaira. Our today's lesson is on excretion. At the end of this lesson, I expect you to define excretion. I also expect you to draw the kidneys to show where they are found in a human body. I also expect you to draw the section through the kidney to show different regions of the kidney. I also expect you to explain the formation of urine. Before we go any further, we will define excretion. Excretion can be defined as the removal of toxic substances of metabolism. So excretion is the removal of toxic substances of metabolism. When we talk about metabolism, remember when we talked about metabolism in grade 10, we were looking at chemical reactions. So chemical reactions that take place in the body are known as metabolism. So these chemical reactions produce different substances. These substances, they need to be removed from the body. Because if they are not removed from your body, they become harmful. So that's why we are using the word toxic. So toxic simply means a substance is harmful. So removal of toxic substances of metabolism is excretion. Now what we are interested in knowing is that we are interested in knowing different organs that are involved in the removing of toxic substances of metabolism from the body. So these organs that remove toxic substances of metabolism from your body, we call them excretory organs. We call them excretory organs because they are involved in excretion. So the first excretory organ that we have the lungs, then we also have the liver, we have the kidneys. Now these excretory organs, they remove excretory products from the human body. These should be removed because when they are left in the body, they are toxic. So the lungs remove or excrete carbon dioxide. We also have water, which is normally in form of water vapor. We also have the liver excreting bile pigment. We also have the kidneys excreting water, salt. Then we also have two nitrogenous waste products. We call them nitrogenous waste products because they contain nitrogen. So the two nitrogenous waste products are urea, it contains nitrogen. We also have uric acid. Now we are going to talk about the kidneys in details. So start by looking at the position of kidneys in the human body. So with me here, I have a chart. So look at the chart. So this chart is showing position of kidneys in the human body. Now when you look at the kidneys, where they are found, normally they are found in the abdomen. So this is where they are found. They are found in the abdomen. Now when you consider looking at the kidneys again, you find that we have two kidneys. So this is the left kidney. We also have the right kidney. So what is on your right hand side must be the left kidney. Then the one that is on the left hand side must be the right kidney. So this is the left kidney, this is the right kidney. Now when you look at the kidneys again, you find that normally the kidneys are involved in excretion. So the kidneys are involved in excretion. Basically they are involved in formation of urine. So kidneys are involved in formation of urine. Now when urine is produced in the kidneys, this urine has to move from the kidneys to the bladder. So the urine moves from the kidneys to the bladder through the tube we call the ureter. So this is the ureter. So we have two ureters. We have one ureter connected to the left kidney. We also have another ureter connected to the right kidney. So these two, they act as passages for urine from the kidneys to the bladder. So when the urine reaches the bladder, it is stored in the bladder. So storage of urine takes place in the bladder. When the bladder is full, now urine has to pass out of the human body through the passage we call the urethra. So do not confuse ureter and urethra. So the ureter, this is the passage for urine from the human body to the outside. Now, besides these parts that I've mentioned, we also have two blood vessels that are connected to the kidneys. We have the renal vein, we also have the renal artery. Now, when you look at these two blood vessels, remember when we were talking about circulation of blood? When we were talking about circulation of blood, we know that normally the arteries come from the aorta. So that's why we have the aorta. Then from the aorta, that's where you have the renal artery. Then we know that we also have the vena cava. So blood from the kidneys will move from the renal artery, to move from the renal vein to the vena cava, then back to the heart. So basically we have the aorta bringing blood to the renal artery. We also have the renal vein carrying away blood from the kidneys to the vena cava, which takes blood back to the heart. So since we have now known the position of kidneys in the human body, we'll look at the section through the kidney. What we'll do, we'll start with the outer layer, which we call the cortex. So remember the kidney is bean shaped. So this is the section through the kidney. Okay? So we are trying to draw the section through the kidney. Okay? Now what we are going to do, we'll label the diagram. So like I said, the outer part, we call it the cortex. Then this is the medulla. So this is the medulla. We also have the pelvis. We also have the pelvis. Then this tube from the kidney, remember we said it's the ureter. So even here, this is the ureter. So when they ask you to draw the section through the kidney, this is what you're supposed to do. So remember, this is the cortex. Then we have the medulla. We also have the pelvis. Then this is the ureter. So now what we are going to do is that, remember that the kidney, we are interested in the kidney being used in excretion. Now the other thing that we shouldn't forget is that as we are talking about excretion, remember that it is also used in controlling water levels in the body. So in other words, we are saying the kidney is involved in excretion. It is also involved in osmoregulation. So look at how urine is formed by the kidneys. Now for urine to be formed in the kidneys, we have tubes in the kidneys which we call nephrons. So this is an example of a nephron. So these nephrons are many in the kidneys. But for ease explanation, we have just drawn one. So this is one of the nephrons found in the kidneys. Now when you look at this chart, you find that, remember I told you that the kidneys normally is connected to two blood vessels. We have the renal artery. Now this renal artery has to bring blood to the kidneys. So that's why you see this arrow pointing towards the nephron. Then we also have the renal vein. So remember the renal vein carries away the blood after passing through the kidneys. So that's why you see this arrow pointing away from the nephron. Now besides the renal vein and the renal artery, we have the branch from the renal artery divides into small capillaries. So the renal artery divides into small capillaries known as the glomeruli. So the small capillaries, we call them glomeruli when there are many, but when it's just one, we just say glomerulus. So remember the renal artery divides into small capillaries, we call them glomerulus. Now since the glomerulus, they are capillaries, it simply means that they have small holes, allowing only smaller molecules to pass in through. So besides that, we also have this capsule. So the glomeruli are surrounded by the Bowman's capsule. So this is the Bowman's capsule. Now when you check, you find that from here to here, we have the renal tubule. So this is the renal tubule. Now it forms a loop. So this loop, we call it the loop of Henle. So this is the loop of Henle. It has formed the loop. So therefore we call it the loop of Henle. Then as you go on, beyond the loop of Henle, we come to what is known as the collecting duct. So this is a nephron. So we explain now how urine is formed. Basically, we have two processes. The first process, we call it ultrafiltration. Then the second one, we call it selective reabsorption. These are two important processes involved in urine formation. So first, I will explain the ultrafiltration. Now, for ultrafiltration to take place, what happens is that this branch from the renal artery towards the glomerulus is wider, much wider than the blood vessel, carrying away blood from the glomerulus. So what happens is that because of this, pressure will be built up as blood is moving here. So blood will be moving here, pressure will be built up here. Remember I told you that the Bowman's capsule contains the glomeruli. Now these glomeruli are blood capillaries containing small holes which can only allow smaller molecules to pass through. That's why when the pressure is built up here, you expect only smaller substances made up of smaller molecules to be filtered under a high pressure from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule. So that's why you have these arrows showing that some of the constituents of the blood plasma should move from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule. Remember, they should be very small to pass through the small holes. So these substances which are filtered under high pressure from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule, we call them the glomerular filtrate. So glomerular filtrate. Glomerular filtrate. So do not forget, we are saying it's ultrafiltration because pressure is involved. Now you might ask, which substances are part of the glomerular filtrate? So we have salt, will be filtered out of the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule. We also have water. So we have water. We also have glucose. We have nitrogenous waste products like urea. So these will be part of the glomerular filtrate. Now remember, like I said, the glomerulus will only allow very small molecules to pass through because they are capillaries. There are some substances which will not leak out, or there are some substances which will not be filtered from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule because they are large. So substances which will not be filtered. So substances which will not be filtered. So the ones that will not be filtered are normally blood vessels. are normally blood cells. So blood cells will not be filtered. We also have blood proteins will not be filtered. So why these will not be filtered? Because they are large. They cannot pass through the small holes of the glomerulus. So this is how you are supposed to explain when you come to ultrafiltration. So remember, pressure is involved. Okay? Now we come to the next process, which we call selective reabsorption. Now remember that the glomerular filtrate containing salt, water, glucose, and urea will start now moving downwards through the renal tubule. Now, as these substances are moving downwards, these substances should not be part of urine, because if they are left there, they will be part of urine and they will be removed from your body. So what it means is that you will have lost glucose, which is essential for respiration, for example. So to avoid losing essential products from your body, or to avoid losing essential useful substances from your body, that's why now selective reabsorption comes in. So like I said, as the glomerular filtrate is moving downwards, the useful substances, they have to be selectively absorbed back into the blood where they came from. So you find that all the glucose will be selectively reabsorbed. So what will be reabsorbed? All the glucose will be selectively reabsorbed. Okay? Then we have some salt will be selectively reabsorbed. We also have some water will be selectively reabsorbed. Some water. So remember, we are saying some salt, some water. Reason being that it depends on the body demands. So if you need more salt, it means that more salt will be reabsorbed. If you need more water, your body needs more water, it means that more water will be reabsorbed. So what is happening is that as you go, or as the glomerular filtrate moves down, that's why here it's indicated glucose and water will be reabsorbed. So the glomerular filtrate will keep on moving downwards. To keep on moving downwards, then somewhere here you find that some of the salt will be reabsorbed. So whatever remains after that now will be urine, and it has to move through the collective duct into the pelvis, then into the urethra, then finally into the urinary bladder where urine is stored. So don't forget, we are saying this is selective reabsorption because not all substances are selectively absorbed. Like urea is not absorbed because this is poisonous. So this is not absorbed. But these other substances which are useful in the body are selectively reabsorbed. Now, in conclusion, I can say that when you look at excretion, what you shouldn't forget is that excretion is the removal of toxic substances of metabolism. Then there are three basic organs, excretory organs that are involved. We have the lungs, we have the liver, we also have the kidneys. Now, when you look at the kidneys are important because they are also involved in excretion. Besides that, we said they are also involved in osmoregulation somehow, because when the urine is coming out of the human body, water is also involved. So we have kidneys involved in excretion. We also have kidneys involved in osmoregulation. Before we end our today's biology lesson presentation, we'll look at some of the questions. So the first question says, define excretion. Define excretion, that's the first question. Then the next one is, apart from the kidney, which other excretory organs are involved in excretion? The last question states that with reference to the kidneys, explain how urine is formed. So what I'll do, I'll give you 1 minute in which to try and answer these questions. I believe you have gone through and you have come up with your own answers. So let me also give you the answers. So the first question says, define excretion. So excretion can be defined as the removal of toxic substances or metabolism. Then the next question says that, apart from the kidneys, which other excretory organs are involved in excretion? We have two other excretory organs. So the first one is the liver, then the next one is the lung. Then question 3 states, how is urine formed by the kidneys? So remember we said that there are two processes that are involved. We have ultrafiltration and selective reabsorption. So ultrafiltration involves filtration under high pressure in the glomerulus, where some substances are filtered out of the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule. So examples are salt, water, glucose. We also have urea. Then under selective reabsorption, we are interested in useful substances being maintained in the body. So for example, all the glucose is selectively reabsorbed. Some salt is also reabsorbed. So we also have some water being reabsorbed. This is all I had for you. From me, bye.